I'm Bambi Francisco for Vator TV, the network for innovators, and I'm speaking with Deva Hazarika. He's the CEO and founder of ClearContext, which is an email and project management software company. Deva, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Deva, you have been, basically you've been licensing this company, or you've been making money based on selling a license to the software, but now you're moving into this free model. Why are you doing that?
So what we've seen is there are two types of users of our product right now. There are people who are focused on just dealing with large volumes of email and trying to stay on top of replying to their emails on time, stay on top of just a huge sort of massive incoming email. And then there's a different type of user who's doing more sophisticated stuff. They're actually using email almost as a replacement for things like Microsoft Project. They're actually using email as sort of a real-time project management system. What we're doing is we're segmenting the product in two. So we'll have a free product which is applicable to really anyone who gets a high volume of email. And we look at that as a broad distribution channel to expose some of our email prioritization and organization capabilities, get that exposed to as broad a marketplace as possible. And then on top of that, add some services on a more of a sort of piecemeal basis. So people who are using our free product to organize all of their incoming email can then buy into the project management system to tie in their calendars and to-dos and things like that.
How does that compare with Google's Gmail for corporations? We, as a small business, Vator, we actually use Google's corporate email, and it's pretty good at managing, sort of shared calendars and, putting lists together and categorizing your email. So how is it, why would we switch over to your service?
So it's actually very similar, and a lot of the reasons why our product exists is because large corporations, business users who are the sort of in the biggest pain when it comes to email and having to get back to their email promptly, things like that. Most of those people are tied into Microsoft Outlook within their companies.
Sure.
So our products are actually built on top of, our first product's built on top of Microsoft Outlook, and what it does is not only integrate across the different areas in Microsoft Outlook. It integrates the email, it integrates the calendar, all the attachments that are coming through, and also provides links to external services. So we see a world where, as you mentioned, Google corporate mail tying into things like Salesforce.
Right.
We see a world where people who are sort of stuck with Outlook as their business email provider, their email client, they also are going to use different enterprise systems. They're going to use external websites. There's a bunch of different places where they want to pull all that information together. And we see, just like Google's doing it on the webmail side, we see a need for that on the sort of corporate email desktop.
So you're
client.
going after corporate employees.
Exactly. So it's business people, high volume business email users, and the ones who have the biggest pain are people like project managers, salespeople, anyone who's dealing with lots of sort of multiple clients, multiple projects, and trying to keep all of that stuff organized as it flows through.
Who do you see as your competitor? And who would you have to kind of bump out or?
So
to
so there's sort of two types of competitors. One type of competitor is the sort of pure play project management tool. And
who would those be?
So there's Franklin Covey, Plan Plus. A lot of companies are, and even Microsoft Project, companies that build tools that are sort of pure project management tools. The difference between what we do and what those companies do is those companies are about situations where you're setting up a project. So if you have really well-defined project teams where you're a collaborative environment where you say, okay, we've got a clear set of deadlines, goals, tasks, priorities. You set up a project and you sort of do all the upfront work to set up a project. That's when those types of solutions work. What we're seeing is in today's work environment a lot more people who sort of are getting information via email, and projects are sort of coming up, and they have these sort of dynamic projects where say sales leads are a good example, where salespeople don't want to set up an entire Salesforce account for each potential prospect.
Right.
But what happens is they'll get 30 different emails that are prospects that they're emailing back and forth with, and then after a while they realize now this prospect has turned into a really hot lead. I've got 20 email threads with them. I've got 15 documents exchanged with them. I've got some calendar items. How do I look at all that information together? That's so it's sort of these ad hoc projects that occur all within email. So that's one set of competitors. And then there's another set of competitors. They're very focused on organizing a single category. The best example of that is actually one on Gmail now called Zoopit, who they focus on just organizing all the pictures and all the videos and all of that sort of personal media content. So we're seeing a lot of sort of pure play, let's focus on organizing one very specific type of information. So that's another set of competitors there.
So 2 questions. Now that you're going for this free model, at least part of your model is free, how do you monetize that?
So the 2 ways. The free model, we see a lot of potential for specific services on top of that. So if we're organizing all your email, perhaps you want some statistics information that you're willing to pay for. If a company's got hundreds or thousands of people using our product to organize their email, we can create reports across the company to show them what type of responsiveness different groups are having, where email traffic is. We can sell, and we also look at the project, as I said earlier, the project management stuff as a sort of add-on to that, where so if once someone's using us to organize all their incoming email, group it into buckets, then potentially they want to integrate it with calendars, things like that.
So premium reports and upsell to other reports.
Exactly.
So how a lot of people are interacting and emailing on Vator and social networks? How is that affecting email, the usage of email?
So it's really interesting that over the last couple of years, people have talked about all this stuff's moving online. Lots of services are moving from traditional email and applications into all of these these next generation services. Yeah. And while you have something like a Vator which has a network, most companies that are doing things like that, they use the notification system they use is email. When you have some new new notifications that happen within your Vator community and you want to get people out, people aren't necessarily checking Vator 10 times a day. They want to check it when there's new information for them. How do you get to them? You send them an email. So what we're seeing is a need, as people subscribe to more and more online services, they use more and more of these Web 2.0 services. The notification mechanism for most of those is the inbox. So it's actually the fact that people are doing more stuff on these online services is causing their inbox to be even more clogged. So that's the type of thing actually that we specialize in, is automatically analyzing and processing all these inbound notifications and putting them in the right bucket. So as an example, we could have a custom Vator TV view where all of the incoming communications could be sort of organized for people automatically using our software.
So you're raising funds. How much are you looking for? How big is this opportunity?
So it's we think it's a vast opportunity because in these 2 different segments, we've got the corporate segment where people are using email to really manage their projects and as a sort of main collaboration workspace. And then just individuals in general are getting overwhelmed by just the sheer volume.
How much do they pay for in the corporate setting for just email management? How big is that today?
So we're selling our ClearContext information management system for per user $89. $89.95 license
per user,
and that's something that already, if you look at sort of collaboration and even just things like archiving, discovery, companies are spending millions and millions of dollars. Big corporations are spending millions and millions of dollars on that. So it's really a huge space. We're angel funded so far, and we're starting the fundraising process. And right now we'll probably be doing a full Series A round. It looks like
3 to 5 million.
Exactly, in that
like
kind of range.
Okay. Well, best of luck to you.
Thanks, Bambi.
Okay. I've been speaking with Deva Hazarika. He's the CEO and founder of ClearContext. I'm Bambi Francisco.